What the White House is saying about President Obama's whereabouts on the night of the Benghazi terror attack and what we are learning now.
Do you not know whether he was in the situation?
I don't remember what room the president was in on that night, and that's a largely irrelevant fact.
Well,
the point is, the question is, the premise of your question is that somehow there was something that could have been done differently, okay, that would have changed the outcome here. The Accountability Review Board has looked at this. People have looked at it. It's a horrible tragedy what happened, and we have to do is make sure it doesn't happen again.
That was Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace with the White House senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer over the weekend with that question and answer about the whereabouts of 9/11 and the president. Fox News national security analyst Katie McFarland with me in studio, and good morning to you. The question is a largely irrelevant fact. His whereabouts.
Wrong.
What do you think of that?
Look, that is the crucial question, because what the president's involvement is, where he was giving his direction that night, makes all the difference in the world as to whether there could have been a rescue mission. The president, by saying to the Secretary of Defense and to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the 5 o'clock meeting that afternoon, said, do what you have to do, you guys handle it. When the president said that, he was closing the door to any rescue mission, because they don't commit U.S. troops abroad. They don't commit U.S. troops into another country unless they have the direct say-so and authorization of the president.
Why don't we know about his whereabouts now?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to cover up, is because you don't know what happened.
What would be so offensive about where he was?
Involved. Let me tell you, I mean, when I talked to my old boss, Henry Kissinger, he said to me, you know, any administration we had been part of, within minutes, you would have had, within 15 minutes, there would have been a White House Situation Working Group dealing with that situation as it was ongoing. The problem with the Benghazi attack, they say now, well, we would have had a rescue mission. It wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have gotten there in time. When the president was briefed, nobody knew. Was it a kidnap mission, a hostage-taking mission, or an attack that would result in 4 deaths?
All right, that's the question about the president. This question about Hillary Clinton. BYA, because you asked. Now, Robert Castleberry out of Pasco, Washington writes, does anyone know why the person in charge of the Department of State was not interviewed by the ARB? That is the Internal Review Board. Right. The person in charge would be Hillary Clinton. Who made that decision, and what was the reasoning?
Okay, well,
what's the answer?
The review board was given this much of a window to look at. The whole issue is this. They were just given a very narrow segment, which is what happened before. Why was there not adequate security provided? We all know that it was a screw-up. So what did they conclude? There wasn't enough security provided. What they were not tasked to look at was what happened during the attack and why no rescue mission, or what happened after the attack and why have we not gone and rounded up the people who are self-proclaimed bragging about having done it.
One of the men who conducted that review, you'll hear from in a moment here, okay?
Right.
But first, this is Hillary Clinton on that Friday. This would have been September 14th, when the bodies of the deceased were returned to Andrews Air Force Base.
We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Benghazi that took the lives of those brave men. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
Now, when we look back at that, on that 14th of September, right, that was the day the talking points were being massaged. Fast forward to about 3 weeks ago, Ambassador Pickering, who did the internal review of the State Department, said we knew where the responsibility rested. She had already stated on a number of occasions she accepted, as a result of her job, the full responsibility. That was on CBS's Face the Nation, when he was asked as to why they did not talk to her. What do you think of that answer?
I think it's a bad answer, because accept responsibility but no accountability. I mean, again, who's been held responsible? Somebody says, oh, I was responsible, but yet there's no punishment, there's no accountability taken, no review of what did you do wrong. I think that's a fake accepting of responsibility. And when Secretary Pickering, who is a very well-respected man, when he came out and said, well, we looked at it, we didn't really find any problems, they weren't looking at the right thing. I mean, Bill, it's like you go to the dentist, right? You get a checkup, and you come out of the dentist's office and say, yippee, I've got a clean bill of health, I'm in perfect health. Your teeth might be, but who knows about the rest of you.
KT, thanks. KT McFarland here. To our viewers at home, Hemmer@foxnews.com is the email. Also on Twitter, you can follow me there at Bill Hemmer. Thank you, KT.
Thank you.